Hi there, and welcome to episode 4 of Bands and Humans podcast. I am your host, Bands, and you are the humans. So, today's episode is on meditation. So, today we're basically just going over how meditation has impacted the world and how it has grown through this evolution of globalization and whether it's been affected or not. Just to find out whether this ancient practice can still help us in today's times. So, meditation is an ancient practice that is practiced all across the world and throughout various regions of the world, but was predominantly more popular from the eastern regions of the world, spreading across India to China. It became more popularized through globalization, where the Western world was trying to figure out sacred knowledge and sacred practices that the East would practice, that they were trying to integrate into their own culture. Now, one would look at this intermingling of cultures as a bad thing or might see it as a good thing, but there are positives and negatives to that integration. So, one positive would be that there's a new communication or a new form of communication that is widespread across the world and that allows for certain practices to grow and for certain practices to be developed in a different way rather than them being secluded and isolated towards a specific region. And the con side of it would be that some cultures regard certain practices as sacred. So now, when you opening up their cultures to other regions of the world, we don't know how much influence that those other cultures might impose on those sacred practices and sacred cultures that could in some way be invasive or ruin those sacred practices. For many years, scholars have struggled to truly define what meditation is due to the fact that it's not as easy as it can be a subjective practice, but it can also be looked at objectively. For someone to define what meditation is, they can only describe it from how it benefits them as a person and how it benefits those around them. But there is no one way to define what meditation is. Everyone can have a subjective view on what it is. So let's look at the word meditation itself and what does it mean to meditate? To meditate means to think, to contemplate on something or to ponder about something. That in itself tells you the fundamental of this practice. But we'll get to learn that thinking isn't really a part of it. We're trying to alleviate ourselves and trying to elevate ourselves above that practice of thinking. So now one might ask, what are the benefits or the health benefits to meditation? And we could list those as lower stress levels, relieving anxiety, and it can also help those who are struggling with overthinking. But there are other ways that meditation can help that aren't regarded as health benefits. It can help with relaxing, calming the spirit, and it can also help you process your thoughts and emotions through various techniques that are included in meditation. There are people that would consider meditation as a religious practice rather than a spiritual practice. And this has prevented a lot of schools from being able to implement meditation as a practice in schools. But can we view meditation as something separate from religion? And I believe it is. So with that, it has stagnated a lot of spiritual growth that we can develop from an early age in kids as we are raising a new type of youth who are more mindful and more conscious of their actions rather than acting on impulse, because acting on impulse is what leads to such things as bullying and just kids displaying erratic behavior during school hours, either towards their teachers or their peers. With meditation, I believe that there is an intrinsic healing or an intrinsic development that can be sown into their livelihoods from a very early age leading up to adulthood, thus bringing up better adults to lead the world into a better direction. But that's just me and my views on how beneficial meditation can be either in the school environment or the work environment. But let me know what you guys think about that view in the comments below, and whether that's a discussion to be had or whether you guys feel like it's a futile conversation that goes nowhere. So just let me know what you guys think. So now that we know what meditation is and where its origins lie, we want to discover what the different forms or the different techniques are within meditation. For now, I want to start off by introducing 4 techniques or 4 methods of meditation to you guys. starting off with breathing meditation. And breathing meditation is a very simple form of meditation. Anyone can practice it. You can either pick up a book on meditation, read it, and find different ways on how it can benefit you individually as a person and cater it to your own needs. Or you can visit either a yoga studio or a school for yoga to get a more in-depth practice as to how you go about it. And the second form of meditation is called mindfulness meditation. And mindfulness meditation lends itself to the practice of focusing in and acknowledging our thoughts and emotions and being able to let go of them once we have acknowledged them. So whether you're feeling sad, happy, or however you are feeling, it's a good practice to not get too high on thoughts and not get too low on them as well. So once you are able to acknowledge those thoughts and you are able to bring yourself back to your center, you acknowledge those thoughts and you let them go and process the day as it goes along. And the benefits of doing this form of meditation is that it keeps you grounded and centered and aligned to your spirit, whereas you're not allowing yourself to veer off into one spectrum of emotions or thoughts. The third form of meditation is called Zen. And according to a great article I found on zenstudies.org, they classify Zen as a way to experience the ultimate reality. And I paraphrase directly from the website. Zen is the direct experience of what we might call ultimate reality or the absolute, yet it is not separate from the ordinary, the relative. This direct experience is our birthright. The practice of Zazen meditation is a way of realizing the non-dualistic, vibrant, subtle, and interconnected nature of life. And if you guys are interested in finding out more on Zen meditation, you can go directly to the website zenstudies.org. I will leave the link in the description box below. And now we get to the fourth form of meditation, which is transcendental meditation. It is called transcendental meditation because it transcends the mundane experiences of life that we have and brings us towards a higher or a more spiritually heightened experience of life. Now, the technique involved in transcendental meditation is the use of a mantra. A mantra is a sacred chant or words that you repeat to yourself. And the reason why we repeat the words to ourselves is to embed them into our subconscious mind so that eventually when you do need to use them in your life, or regardless of whether you're conscious of it or not, you are able to refer back to that chant or those words that you used. So for me, the most helpful technique has been using that mantra or that affirmation in increments of 4. So I'd say it 4 times to myself, give myself some breathing space. And you want to keep doing that for about 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how willing you are and how much time you have to spend on this practice. And one important thing to note is that the subliminal mind is always present, and that's what meditation is all about, being present in the current moment. It's the relationship between you, time and space. So you are trying to center yourself in the present moment. So when you are saying these affirmations to yourself or using that mantra, you have to be able to bring yourself to the present moment and use that affirmation in the now. So when you're saying I am so such and such, you have to use it in the present tense. And the last form of meditation is Kundalini meditation, and it's a form of meditation that I am yet to practice in the practical sense of things, but I have done quite an extensive amount of research towards it, and I look forward to actually being able to practice it. And this form of meditation is called Kundalini meditation, or can be called Kundalini yoga, depending on whether you wish to use it as a yoga or meditation exercise. And what Kundalini does is focus on the divine energy that resides at the base of your spine. This energy is also linked to your chakra system, and the chakra that is located at the base of your spine is called the root chakra. That's your first chakra, and it is symbolized by the color red. Now, this energy comes in the form of an oil, and this oil is called Christos in Greek, which means Christ. Christ energy. That is your Christ energy. This energy rises up your spine and goes back down periodically, depending on, I guess, your spiritual inclination as well, and a lot of different other factors. Now, that bit of information is very crucial or critical into understanding the esoteric knowledge that is derived from the Codex Biblios, which is the Bible, which talks about a man called Jesus Christ who ascended into heaven. And that's exactly what this oil does. It rises up your spine towards your crown chakra, which is located at the top of your head or your dome. This form of meditation has a lot of intricacies regarding the sacred knowledge hidden behind it and the meanings behind most of the stuff that is very surface level to what we see. So I look forward to actually being able to sit down with someone who specializes in this form of meditation or this form of yoga, to be able to sit down with them and get to find out more on it. And I might be able to document that hopefully, and hopefully bring you guys some exciting content as well. Now, Kundalini energy is symbolized by the serpent, and if you've seen the symbol for it, it's all across. You've probably seen it but never knew what it meant. And it's got a different meaning in the Western world. Whereas in ancient Egypt, it is symbolized by the winged staff of Hermes with two serpents on either side who are intertwining in an ascending manner towards the top of that staff. And because of the time constraints I'm facing on this episode, I have to tie it down and bundle it into another episode, which will be more in-depth and a lot more insightful on this particular topic of Kundalini Yoga or Kundalini Meditation. Now, for people who have observed meditation from afar, you might be asking yourself, why do they use that mantra of when they're meditating? We can get into that a little bit. And is spelled as A-U-M and in some cases O-M. Now, the significance of this particular mantra is that the resonance of the vibrations that it has and the different channels that it goes through are quite significant, and is usually used for meditating on your third eye chakra. But we're not going to talk about that in this episode right now. And according to anada.org, Om is the vibration by which the Supreme Spirit brings all things into manifestation. It is the Holy Ghost of the Christian Trinity, and it can be considered as one of the most powerful mantras because of the fact that it is all encompassing, all matter, all energy, all thoughts. The A stands for Aka, which represents the vibration of creation. The U stands for Uka, which represents the vibration of preservation. And then the M stands for Maka, which is the vibration of destruction. Now, this all ties into one of the episodes where I mentioned one of my spiritual teachers, Brother C. Freeman L., who talks about us being God as God, as generator, operator, and destroyer, which is ultimately what we are, because we are responsible for the conception of this perceivable universe that we see. That is why we can say that we are the God of our own worlds. And that brings us to the end of this segment of Bands and Humans podcast. This has been episode 4 on meditation. If you managed to get to the end of this episode, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And I'll catch you in the next episode.